Hey, welcome to The Guide. I'm Yo.
And I'm Will.
And here's our weekly update for this week. And let's start off with some sort of down news, and then we'll get to some happier stuff to end off with. Because, you know, it's always better to end on a happy note than end on a sad note.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some of the fallout from The Dark Knight Rises and, of course, the shootings that took place in Aurora, Colorado. And first of all, if you haven't read our review for The Dark Knight Rises, it was a different kind of a review. You know, when I was writing it, I couldn't write it outside of the context of what happened.
Well, yeah, given the circumstances, I think it was important to include, everybody's general perception of the movie and what happened and how it all plays together.
Well, it's part of the legacy of that film now, for good or for ill. And you know, so when I was writing that review, it wasn't the typical review because I couldn't just talk about just the movie. I had to talk about what happened in connection with that movie. So check that out. You know, it's kind of a different review for us, but I think there are some things that we can learn, especially about, you know, where was God when that took place, and why would something like that happen? And you know, we explore some of that in our review of The Dark Knight Rises. So be sure to swing by the guide and check that out. But there's been some other interesting fallout from this event as well. Yeah,
like the movie Gangster Squad, which happened to have a scene in it involving a shootout in a movie theater. And so now, due to
Did you see that trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that trailer's not available anymore. Warner Brothers, which also put out The Dark Knight, has pulled that trailer, so now you can't see it.
Yeah, they're kind of self-censoring themselves because they don't
Smartly
want
so.
Yeah, they don't want to encroach on this touchy subject.
Right.
So they're going to do some reshoots, get some new scenes, and they've pushed back the date to 2013.
Now, the tricky part is that scene was actually kind of a pivotal scene to the plot, where it had to happen because after that it pushed a lot of the rest of the plot forward. So there's a lot of questions. Well, how are they going to redo? Are they going to just recut that scene? Will they cut the scene out completely? If they do that, it's going to require reshoots and rewrites. So Gangster Squad's kind of a mess right now as a part of what happened with the shootings in Colorado. And moving on from there, The Dark Knight Rises did do pretty well over the weekend.
Yeah, about 260 million.
160.
160.
260 million would be outrageous.
Pocket change.
Well, you know, the big question was how much would the shootings in Colorado affect the box office of The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
And it's hard to say. No one really knows for sure. It was tracking higher than that, but still, it's the biggest opening for a 2D movie of all time. It opened bigger than The Dark Knight, not by much, but it was still bigger. So a decent opening despite everything that happened in Aurora, Colorado. And they held back the numbers an extra day. A lot of the studios didn't report their take over the weekend, again, out of sensitivity for what happened in Aurora, Colorado.
That's not really the thing everybody's trying to focus on.
Hey, here's how much money we made. You know, again, I was impressed with some of the way Hollywood and the studios handled this very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
So again, kudos to them for doing that. And then the last thing connected to that was Christian Bale.
Oh yeah, Christian Bale. He went and visited the remaining victims in the hospital.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't really know if I was one of them. Like, oh, sweet consolation prize.
I think it's kind of cool that he's willing to go and visit them. And, you know, Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale, Anne Hathaway, all of them have been very sensitive about this subject, and they've released their own press statements about it. So, I mean, that's got to be tough. Here you put your heart and soul into making a movie, and then this is connected to it. I mean, that's a tough thing.
With no fault of their own.
No fault of their own, but it's connected to it. So I thought that was kind of cool that Christian Bale was willing to go and visit the victims and, you know, offer whatever comfort he could.
Yeah.
So moving on from there, let's talk a little bit about some bonuses you can get if you happen to pre-order a certain video game.
Resident Evil 6 is on the way, and I'm still trying to decide if this is just an incentive to trick people into buying it because the last one was such a flop. But if you pre-order Resident Evil 6 from Capcom, they will give you a Umbrella Corp design umbrella. So, I mean,
how would that trick people into buying the game? Ooh, an umbrella!
It's a value of $16.95. You can buy it separately if you want.
It's $16.95, and of course here in New Mexico you have no use for that. So I don't know how many.
It is monsoon season.
Well, that's true.
There's probably like 15 minutes a day that might be good
pull
for
it out, and everybody be like, "Wow, that's like the Umbrella Corp umbrella."
Yeah.
Ooh.
So there you go.
That was that was kind of interesting that they had that. And then Battlefield 3, some news for them. They got some new DLC coming in very soon. New maps coming out that's all about the vehicles.
Yes.
Which is good for people who thought the last map pack was too much like Call of Duty.
Right, yeah. So this one's going to be more focused on vehicles, and with that, obviously a lot of team play too.
Yeah. And it's going to have, quote unquote, the biggest Battlefield map ever included with it. It's going to have some new vehicles, including the C-130 gunship. You can be in the C-130 flying over people on the ground. Kind of cool.
Very cool.
I'm kind of interested in that.
I'm curious to see how people use it effectively.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds like a really big target to me right now.
I know,
get
for
shot
all those
down.
jets flying around.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be like a new tank buster mode. I haven't heard anything more about that, but tanks are going to play a big role in the upcoming Armored Kill DLC for Battlefield 3. And then we're going to play Battlefield 3 as the guide.
Yeah, coming up on August 17th, we're going to have a Battlefield 3 night. So if you missed the last one with Project 86, then this will be a good opportunity to get in with it.
Yeah, we'll have some details on what server to look for when we do that, and what modes we're going to play. So all those details will be coming soon. So watch for it on our website, gameandmovieguide.com,
or join in facebook.com/gamemovieguide, and you can also find us on Google Plus and Twitter. And don't forget to check out all the info on our friend's site, hollywoodjesus.com.